Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. In today's episode, we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con and the two biggest names there, Thrilljoy and Rokimoto. Both of them had big events. A lot of stuff went on. A lot of products were shown. Can't wait to talk about it.
Collecting is the way. Now let's chat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Collector Chatter. This is episode 138. I am Miggs here with Charlie. What's going on, Charlie? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? I'm excited.
I'm good.
I'm excited for this episode.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
We always love talking about the conventions, and last week's episode, of course, was kind of like leading up to it and a preview of what was going to happen. And obviously it just happened. It just was this past weekend, went from Thursday all the way to Sunday, and a lot of stuff happened in regards to the con itself, a lot of stuff that dropped, exclusives from multiple different people that obviously big collectible companies that we follow. And then there was two in particular, like the Thrilljoy and Rokimotos of the world that we always kind of talk about, that also had big events that were specific. One was Friday night, which was Thrilljoy's, and then Saturday night was Rokimoto's. And, I guess we just talk about those two mostly because obviously Funko had its own thing, but I want to get too in depth on those because we have a lot of stuff to talk about specifically for Thrilljoy and for Rokimoto. And it's centered around the con itself, stuff that was coming out, things that were dropped, and then of course these events. So they had big events. Funko didn't have an event this year at the actual con, so they were kind of the two big.
They were the
ones
talk
in
of the
room,
town,
right? Yeah, that's all everyone was talking about. If you went on Instagram and you collect anything, everybody was talking about these two events. Majority of the people I feel like that went to one went to the other. It was
agreed.
A lot of people
double dipped.
So they definitely had it seemed pretty cool. There was a lot of stuff going on, but let's start off with Thrilljoy. So we'll start off with Thrilljoy, which was on Friday, was their actual event. Of course, theirs was a block party theme, which was Boardwalk Bash, and it was outdoors. Seemed like they kind of had like a parking lot, essentially, like a big area that, there's some kind of area that was fenced in. We heard a lot of rumors from their Whatnot streams and Cursa talking about having a Ferris wheel. They had a Ferris wheel.
It was there with blue right in the center.
Yeah, right in the middle with blue. That was awesome. And they obviously just went for the whole like boardwalk kind of theming and like games and boardwalk games and stuff like that. And yeah, so we weren't there. So we're going to kind of, we're going to kind of give our take on like what it looked like, what we saw from videos, and some positives, and some people had some negatives, but just kind of see what you thought. But what was your initially, what did you think about it?
Initially, I thought it looked amazing. Like had serious FOMO, especially when I saw, shout out to our boy Alex Thrilljoy Seeker when he posted a video of him opening the box, like their Fun Days box. I was like, oh my god. Honestly, the first thing that just went to my mind is, and we've joked about this before, Brian truly at this point has created Funko 2.0. Like it is. Like I feel like he started off wanting to be a little different. It didn't work. And now we're at this point. He's legitimately just made Funko a better version of all the products he made at Funko, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like I think they're full steam ahead with that. I think it was a great decision, as we've talked about, but showing how it was full in force at this event was wild. And one thing I loved was, at this point they're really going deep into tear into the thrill. It is like their new slogan. I don't know if you noticed, it was even what was in the booth this year, like big across the wall. Mm-hmm. And that's even how you opened the boxes, which I thought was super cool. So you had to tear right into the actual box, and they even did the teams like Funko did when Fun Days was awesome. Mm-hmm. So you had blue, and that's why I think it was a perfect opportunity to introduce their two new characters, Red and Tuck. So those three different teams, and within that box, you got 4 different picks. You got a pixel, you got a pin, and everyone had a lanyard of like the team they were on. Mm-hmm. And I mean, these were fire pieces. Like we were getting, and that's another thing. They all still were just like the picks we now know and love. You had to tear into them. You had chances of getting the hero, the chase, some had super chases. All of them were like that. Even the blues, which are, let's say the equivalent to the Freddies. I loved that idea. It was like, okay, one of them that showed up that I was like, this is sick, is Harry Potter. The hero was Gryffindor, blue, dressed up in like Gryffindor attire. The chase was Slytherin. You had the TMNT one, Mikey and Leo. I mean, I don't want to talk about it all. I want you to talk about some of it too, but I just right off the bat, seeing the product that you were given, like event aside, the product looked incredible.
Yeah, that was the initial thing that we saw, obviously. Well, one, because we'll talk about some of the stuff that dropped and stuff too. But the convention itself, of course, had like awesome stuff. We talked about it last week, most of the things, and obviously there was a few other ones that popped up. And it was selling out. It was very popular. And then once we saw this event, which was Friday night, that was like the first thing we saw was everyone receiving their boxes and ripping into them, and then noticing there's like 4 picks in this box, and then, like you said, a pixel pin and stuff like that. But all of them obviously were pretty limited to how many people were able to go to this event anyways. And most of them were 200 piece, 500 piece. And I think there was one that was one of the Leonardo's was 1,000 piece, but most of them were like 200, 500 pieces. And then the chases were like 24 piece chases. Like they pretty much almost all had one of those. So it was like crazy when we saw it, because I was like, this is like the excitement and the FOMO and like the hype that we used to get with like the old school fun days. And we didn't really get that. We haven't gotten that lately. And then with Thrilljoy, this was like super exciting. And like you said, that like seeing new blues was pretty cool. And what I liked is that we got a couple blues that we've actually seen in the mega pick style, which were from the originals, that they don't really make those right now. We're still waiting for more. But we got like a blue as a Freddy Krueger. We got a blue as the Ninja Turtles one. And those obviously we haven't gotten in this size. So it was like perfect to see them in picks. They had sweet chases as well. And then there was like a Batman one, which we're getting the Batman one, but now we got like a metallic one and like chrome and stuff. So like there was just different variations of it.
24 pieces those were.
Yeah, tons of 24 piece stuff, which was crazy that they're making some stuff like that, because that's really sweet. It's very like, it's just more rare, and it's more fun to be a collector to get that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So,
and everything had special stickers on it for all you sticker whores out there.
Like the Bash, they were made Boardwalk Bash on it.
Product was just incredible.
Yeah, that was the first thing we saw. Space Ghost was another one. What else? There was a few, but those are like the big ones. That we got some
there was
turtles.
Thundercats.
Yep, the Lino.
The turtle stuff.
Then we had some turtle stuff, which was like Raphael with a chase. It was a super chase option.
Which they were giving those out to everybody.
And Michelangelo the black and white ones. Yeah, it was just like, there was a lot of different stuff going around. And then the one that I was most excited for, and this happened like a little bit later, was they had an Art the Clown one.
Yes.
Terrifier. And that one is a 9,999. So it's kind of like the
Superman.
Yeah, the Superman that came out, which that's going to be the highest they're ever going to go when it comes to piece counts. We heard about that, everything being under 10,000. This is going to be specifically for like scare fair for Hot Topic. So it's like a Hot Topic, obviously during like Halloween time. Perfect, for that. There's a normal one with him with the glasses, and there's a chase where he doesn't have the glasses on, all bloody and stuff like that. So we had that, but that was given out, I believe, supposedly that was like one of
the giveaways.
Which it was like only one, and it came in one of their new like hard case stacks, and it was Brian's like personal one. So I'm assuming they sent it to him like, hey, look, this is what we're going to be making. Here's your copy of it, essentially.
Yep.
And he gave it out. I'm sure he was signing things and stuff left and right. We saw a lot of different things being signed, including one of the Michelangelo 24 pieces someone pulled. So it was wild. That alone got us like talking, got the hype, got like the FOMO going.
I mean, I don't personally, that's all I really needed. And like how you said, they were showing, they did put on a show of showing off new products, with obviously the Terrifier being one of them. They showed more Ninja Turtles. They were showing ones that were dropping like right there on the spot that you can go pre-order. Has been Motel. They were, I mean, just that and the boxes alone. I don't even really care about the Block Party other stuff. Like, to me, that's what those events are about. And then the community. So like that right there was just sweet. The other stuff was just like icing on the cake, I guess, in my opinion. But
yeah, and that was like, obviously they, like most panels and events like for Funko and even
yep,
Thrilljoy last year when we went to it, they always show like video and like, okay, slides of like, this is coming soon, this is next, etc. And they even have like a Lord of the Rings. They're continuing on with more Lord of the Rings stuff, so they're gonna have more
yes,
in that line. They're gonna have a SpongeBob SquarePants, like pretty random, but another one of those, something coming out.
more Avatar.
Avatar line. Yep, a couple things coming out of Avatar. So like they were announcing a lot of different stuff along with them actually announcing and giving stuff out there like for things as well. So it got us, both talking and both excited in the sense of like what's coming out and what we can be excited for. And I know when Alex was on, when we had him on here, Thrilljoy Seeker, he kind of hinted towards like, there's going to be some great stuff coming out. There's some lines that you guys are going to be excited for. And I started seeing these, and I even hit him up inside, and I was like, yeah, like I could see how what you were talking about with some of these
Another
waves and these things coming out.
other ones that they announced too that they didn't show product for, but was Killer Crowns from Outer Space, The Conjuring, Battlestar Galactica, Wednesday, Clueless. Yeah, and just saying all those out loud, Brian has been very adamant that there really is something for everyone, which he clearly has taken them out of from Funko. I mean, so true. Those are just all right there, all just such different properties.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is hitting kind of all sides, and he's getting like the major ones, obviously, like
Yep.
like Superman, for instance, right? Like a major property or somebody, you're gonna get a ton of people for, and then he's still hitting some of the niche ones and some of the kind of out there ones, just because a lot of the times it's stuff that he likes. Like you were saying, the $1 Million Man one, he had a video where he was talking about that one, and he literally said like, "This is one of my favorite movies from back in the day," and we're like, I don't know what the hell this thing is, but he's like, I want to make it because I love this. I'm gonna make it. Who cares? Like
His
someone's gonna buy
presence
it.
at the cons talking about his company is incredible. I
Mm-hmm.
actually wish he did it more. I think Thrilljoy would be even bigger right now at this point if he did do that, in my opinion, because when he's talking at these cons, and it looks like he lets like basically, I'm not gonna lie, I think we're gonna try to talk to him at New York Comic Con. It seems like he's letting everyone talk to him. It's pretty cool because he is really passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the conventions is where and it was funny because we were like, oh, we haven't seen him much, whatever. And then like the convention comes out, that's when he's kind of showing face and he's out there. But I like that because when it's coming to like unveiling new products or lines or whatever, like who better than the guy who pretty much probably is creating the idea and
Yeah.
saying like, we need to make this or we got to get this. And he's the one coming out because he's passionate about what he's selling and he knows what people like, but he also likes things himself and he wants to make it. So like he's been doing that, and you can tell like the excitement behind it. But yeah, the event itself obviously was, like I said, it was kind of more like based off of like boardwalk style and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we got some information from a lot of different people. Obviously, people have been commenting on a lot of these posts. It's kind of been all over the place. Honestly, we've been seeing people being so excited and hyped. We saw some people a little more upset and not as hyped. A lot of it had to do with kind of like the process of like how they were getting these like giveaways or these gifts or whatever you want to call them. And I guess it seems like it was kind of based off of games. Like you had to get tickets, you had to get stand in certain lines to get tickets and like play certain games, and then you could win some of these items. And obviously when that happens, it's not going to be like everyone's not going to get something. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to be waiting around, and I could see both sides of it. But I do know it seems like there was a lot of people that were pretty upset kind of in that execution and how they actually did it. But I don't know, like, I don't know what your thoughts on like kind of how that went or what people are saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of that on paper is great. I mean, it's legitimately like what you would do at a carnival or at a boardwalk. I mean,
Yeah.
I live on the Jersey Shore. Like, that's what it is. So at that aspect, I think it's really cool. And, I've thought a lot about this because, like you said, we've seen some people have reached out to us. We've read comments on our own. Like, it is very up and down. Everyone had their own experience and how they felt about it. And I think for a first year event, from what I've seen, they did probably the best they could do. And I've thought more too. Like, I know when we went to that panel at New York Comic Con, we were upset we didn't win anything. But at the end of the day, like, it is free. You're winning free stuff. Like, that wasn't part of your entry into the bash. I mean, I'm sorry, but that box alone is incredible. Like, I don't think you could leave that event and get nothing else, and I feel like you got your money's worth. So to get these extra special stuff, and I'm pretty sure I saw a video where Brian, you still got other stuff like the black and white scale, like Ninja Turtles from like the original comic book. I think everyone there got one. He talked about it on stage. It was like, everyone's getting one.
Did everyone get a box? Was that like a guaranteed thing?
Yeah, everyone
If
got a
you were
box.
there and you
Like,
got a ticket, you got a box.
Yep. Like, I mean, straight up, he copied Fun Days. So yes, everyone got a box. They picked a team. It was like legitimately just like how Funko used to do it. So everyone got that. I mean, I think what some people are like whining over that they didn't get a proto. But let's be real. Do people complain about that at Funko? Not everyone gets the protos. Like,
Yeah.
not everyone gets the extra special stuff. Like, yeah, it's awesome if you do, but if you don't, it's, it hurts your feelings, I guess.
Yeah, of course
but,
it sucks. But I mean, we were in that boat. Like,
Yeah.
obviously we didn't go to this one, but we went to last year's New York Comic Con panel and like event that they had. And I can see like similarities in the sense of like, you got all these people in a room. And I mean, this was like kind of, you were all over the place, but this one we were at, we were sitting in a room, sitting in chairs. They're up on stage essentially, right? And they did a lot of giveaways. Like, they definitely gave away a lot of stuff. But like, we were just in a bad spot. Like, you have to be smart next time. You got to be more towards an aisle. You got to be towards the front. You can't be, like, so they kind of could only do so much. And at the end of the day, so much is going on, and they're just like, oh, we're gonna give this away. Boom, they're going to give it away. They're not like really probably thinking strategically, like, oh, it's got to go here, and we haven't sent it to this side. Like, it's just the way it's gonna happen. That's how stuff goes. And sometimes you just get unlucky, but like, hopefully you get something. But if you were able to still get something like that box, or even the Leo or one of those turtles, like you were saying, that's still like cool enough in the sense of like, at least you got something. It made it fun. You got to see all these other things. You got to meet other people and like kind of just be in that community. And to me, that, I know both of us are on the same boat here. Like, that is just something that we would love to do regardless.
Yeah.
And is there going to be things that maybe don't go right? Like, yeah, it's their first time they're really doing like a big event, right? Like, now in New York, I'm sure they're going to take some of the, criticism and things that they heard maybe for this one, try to switch it up, maybe fix it if they do an event in New York, and try to not have that be replicated. But it does seem like some of the things were like, the space was too small. A lot of people were kind of saying that, like, they had too many people for the space, so it was a little like just like crowded, not done right in the sense of like that. They didn't really have enough food. Supposedly, the food, they kind of ran out. So like, there's like these little things that are like, if you haven't been doing this, like Funko did Fun Days essentially so many years in a row,
and they still messed up the food.
Exactly. And I was going to say, there was definitely still issues with
I mean, we legitimately have
things.
that Fun Days gross chicken sandwich that turned into a Funko Pop on April Fool's. So like, Funko messed up that too. So you can't be like, the only thing, and once again, this is all hearsay, and this is not my opinion. I want that to be known. But us at the Collector Chatter, we're on all, so we tell everything how it is. Some people have said that certain people were getting special treatment, which, if that is the case, I personally don't think that's cool. When some people said it was happening the whole night. I understand how this stuff works. If certain people were to get special treatment, it just unfortunately is what it is. It's just the kind of the community this is. But some people have reached out to us and were saying that, normal everyday paying customers were waiting in like 2-hour lines to get nothing, and they kept seeing the same people that they know over and over. in the front of lines and getting to play the games, and they clearly were getting these special things. You know what? I don't love that, but I would, if I was there, I wouldn't have gone butthurt about it, because I would just say, you know what, it is what it is. The event was cool. The product was awesome. Brian got everyone excited. They showed off cool stuff. Like, to me, that's all you can really ask for one of these events from just a pure collector going into it all, just the excitement.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm on the same kind of boat as you. Like, it does suck sometimes when you see certain things like that, but it's just kind of the name of the game. We kind of know that some people might get some preferential treatment. It's just kind of the way it is. Every company kind of has that. But at the end of the day, like, also these people are still, like, they're there for a reason. Obviously, if they're known and popular, they're clearly doing something right. They're clearly,
Yep.
it might be their job. They're doing whatever it is. So they worked hard and they did whatever they had to do to get to that point. And it's just, if it's a benefit that comes from it, then it's a benefit that comes from it. And they're going to be the ones that are going to shout out this company and show off their stuff. And, it's kind of a two-way street. It's not like they're just like, oh, you're cool, popular, here, take this. I think it's a little different than that. But I mean, I could see why your average Joe obviously would be a little upset about certain things like that, thinking that, like, hey, I'm still spending money, I'm here, I'm spending time, and I'm not getting anything. But it's going to be hard for everyone to be appeased and, like, happy.
Exactly.
Honestly, at the end of the day. But another thing, just kind of a little bit off topic on that, but it was something that was announced and came out during this time as well, was they decided to come out with another 48-hour product, which obviously we all remember the Mudang one, which was hilarious. That came out a while back.
Which you can still get on hottopic.com if you want one.
Yeah, now for 48 hours, huh? This time it's a blue, and it's a special because it's a collab with an actual artist. And what I love about this is the seal and everything even says it's artist signature series.
Yeah, it looks sick.
It does say designed and developed by Mariotti and Sakai, who's like the guy who actually did it, who is of course an artist, and they were able to get him to create some cool artwork, like samurai style. Stan Sakai is the guy's name, and it's a blue in like a cool little outfit, and then obviously there's like a chase, so there's two versions of that, and it was sold for 48 hours, which I think, is it up now? Or
yeah, it ends it would have ended Sunday night.
Okay, so yeah, by the time
you listen to this, unfortunately,
yeah, so essentially it's about to end based off of when we're filming. But again, I'm sure maybe you can still find it later, kind of like the Mudang. We'll see how that goes. But I love this concept. I love the idea. I love that they're going out to artists as well, and they're getting like legit, stuff done and designed by them, and they're kind of collabing. I love the seal. I love how it's called Artist Signature Series. Like, all that I love. The only one thing, and I said this to you, but the only one thing I don't like is the whole 48-hour aspect. I don't mind the fact that they only put it up for 48 hours. I just don't like that the seal says 48 hours timed edition. Like, that's just kind of weird. Like, I wish it was a piece count, but then again, I'm assuming they maybe don't make these until they see how many
100%.
get sold. And in that case, obviously the numbers are going to be different depending on, what they do sell. But I feel like they could have maybe, instead of it saying 48 hours, maybe just have it say like artist series or special series or something, and then the one that's Chase, say like Chase or whatever on it. That's the only thing. It's something stupid.
I mean, honestly, I agree with you, but what they should do, because I'm agreeing with you, essentially these are put up for pre-order to see how many should be made, and then they're going to make that amount. They should just then put on the seal the actual amount they sold.
Yeah.
Then you'll know the actual piece count. It looks cool. I agree with you. The 48 hours thing is a little strange, especially when we now all know that when they did this last time, that wasn't the actual case.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk poorly on that, because like I think they've only been up and up and up, Thrilljoy, like we said. It's just interesting. It's not something they've abandoned.
Yeah.
But I feel like because it's not an IP, they maybe think that like they don't want to just guarantee a certain amount and they don't sell. But like, I'll be honest, like I ordered this. To me, this is cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's really cool. So just another awesome thing that Thrilljoy, I think, did this weekend. And It looked like I said they were talk of the town at the con again. They were selling within like, I think I heard within 3 hours of opening, they were done with all the product for the day, which
Yeah.
is kind of insane. I mean, all in all, I'm upset I didn't get to go to this event, and I don't
Yeah.
think anyone can change my mind with that.
Yeah. Yeah, a combination of the event and just the con in general. Like you were saying, their booth looked great. Very similar design and everything, kind of like the New York Comic Con one that we
Yep.
saw, obviously, was their debut coming out. But they really pushed to tear into the thrill that was on the wall. That was kind of like what they're going with. They were selling, it was interesting, they were only selling pics and then those couple pixels that they have. So they didn't sell any of the older stuff, which is interesting.
No,
Really just
no clothing either besides the jerseys and the hats.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. The jerseys, which was like more special colors and everything for like San Diego Comic Con. But obviously they had a few of those pixels that were coming out and the special stuff for San Diego Comic Con. So yeah, it looked like very popular. Like the line was really long. Every time anyone had a picture or video and they were going by the booth, like it looked like it was the place to be, which we saw that in New York. So clearly they still have it when it comes to putting on a booth at an actual convention. But yeah, it's exciting to see some of the stuff that's coming out. I just started seeing some. I was actually in my local Hot Topic, and they had a lot of the products that were exclusive to Hot Topic, and then some of the other ones from the con, like even the Batman, the Bebop, the what's it, the Jetsons one, Space Ghost. A lot of those they had there, and it was pretty cool to see, like, they're putting their product out and they're getting it out pretty quick, which I appreciate because it's not like you have to wait for it or randomly or whatever. But Hot Topic seems to be like their big go-to when it comes to the retail side of things, and obviously online they had a lot of stuff interesting. Some stuff sold out pretty quick online. One of them was obviously Jason, but I do think that was kind of like what we see with Funko as well.
Yeah.
When it's a shared, like with someone else, it usually sells faster on the main website because most of them are probably being sent out, especially when they're piece counted, to like the actual stores and stuff like that. So
the one thing though that they did do, which I don't know if you noticed this, and I don't mind that they did it, but I find it interesting that they don't really let this be known unless I missed it. Like the entire San Diego Comic-Con line was available at Hot Topic, not just on Thrilljoy.com.
okay.
It just, you made me think about it. I didn't realize that until after I bought mine from Thrilljoy.com. Not that I wouldn't have gotten it from there versus Hot Topic. I'm curious if that's just a move that they're doing now because they're still super new, or are they just going to continuously do that? Like Hot Topic is their quote unquote brick and mortar stop, and then you can go get the stuff online or Thrilljoy.com. I kind of wish they weren't all there. I do wish it was just like the Jason one, for example.
Yeah.
No,
it
or
was
the
a
Chucky.
little interesting.
It's just weird that they had all of them, but nonetheless, it just gives the product to more people, I guess, to see in person.
We'll also have because they came out and it says like event, like that event sticker with the little sun.
Yeah.
Is like the one that they have actually a Hot Topic, obviously, like that version. But I'm looking at their website now just to kind of get an idea. A lot of stuff is sold out on their website. The Animaniacs, the Voltron, Beavis and Butthead, Adventure Time, Garbage Pail Kids, the Jason, the Batman animated series.
Almost all of them are sold out.
And the Bebop, and then the other Batman. Yeah, those are all sold out. And obviously some of the older ones are also sold out. But yeah, so they're doing well and pretty exciting. So yeah, it's 27th, yeah, Sunday, 7:59 Pacific time is when that so it's pretty soon based off of our time here, when that 48-hour quote unquote thing will be ending. So, but yeah, overall, let us know your thoughts. Definitely let us know. Did you go? Were you at the event? Are you, what is your thoughts? Are you on the side of things where, you thought maybe there were some issues with it? Were you excited about things? Let us know, because we've been hearing a lot. Some people are hitting us up on like Instagram and stuff. And obviously we've been reading a lot of comments. So we've kind of gotten a mixed bag of different things. But from the outside looking in, looked cool, looked fun. And like Charlie said, the biggest thing was like the products that were being there, given out, shown, whatever it was cool and exciting. And it was something that made us like really, really hyped for what Thrilljoy has and what's going to be coming. And I can only see positive when it comes to that. But like event wise, we weren't there. So maybe
Exactly.
there's some things that need to get changed, fixed. And I'm assuming they will do it because they have been doing that with everything else in this company. Whenever they have to fix something, they figure it out, they make a change, and it's usually for the better. So hopefully that's what's going to go on for the next event. Hopefully they do have a big event because obviously we'll be at New York Comic Con,
Yeah.
which will be the next one. So we'll move on to the other big giant in the room, and that is, of course, Mike Becker and Rokimoto.
Yes.
So Rokimoto had an event, the Dreams event, which that was an event that we were excited for when we heard about it. We've been really into Rokimoto, of course, both of us big fans. And, Mike has also been very supportive of the channel, listens,
Yes.
watches, comments and stuff. And we really appreciate that. And we love everything he's been doing with this. Everything has been great. We love the way they've been running things. Their social media has been fantastic. Products have been great. And now we're seeing like a lot of even cooler things coming out and being shown. And this was another event that when we saw specific things that were going to be coming out, it was exciting, whether it was like the Snoopy line, whether it was like other variants of some of their, core characters, new characters like Mapache and stuff like that. And then they ventured into little like beanbag keychain things and like a lot of different things. They have obviously shirts and stuff. So they're really kind of just hitting it all bases when it comes to their products. But the event specifically we were waiting for, because that was obviously Saturday. We started seeing some hype about the actual booth. A lot of influencers, a lot of big channels and people were going and taking videos. And one of the big ones, we could start there, was Gasolcast.
Yeah.
So the Gasolcast, who we are huge fans of, Chris and Heather, they spoke about it a while back. Obviously, they live on the East Coast, they're in Maryland, and they spoke about how Mike invited them, to get out there, and decided let's do it. And they don't fly, so they decided to drive across the country, made a trip out of it, funny little videos and stuff along the way of their vlog. And I didn't know, I don't know if you knew, but I mean, I didn't know. I thought they would go out there, they wanted to host them, maybe do some stuff, whatever, but they had them actually come out at the event.
I think that was a surprise for the fans.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. They didn't tell anyone on their channels, but I do think that's why, I now look back at some of the videos when Chris was talking about it. This is a huge opportunity. Like, and now it all makes sense. Like, Mike invited them up on the stage.
Yeah.
And not only did he do that, like, just he let them show off their product, which I know we're getting ahead of that. That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
And as a huge Mischief Toys fan, it was also sick because I haven't seen any video really of it, just images. They had a sick image on the screen, which showed products that have already been made. It also teased new products, but if you weren't a Mischief Toys fan, you wouldn't have known that. It's legitimately just a collage of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes once again why Mike is the man.
Yeah. And I wanted you to say, because I know you know a little bit more about this specifically, but it kind of went with the whole theming of the night, and obviously being dreams.
Yeah.
And, some people had, pajamas, some didn't. Chris and Heather were dressed in like their like ghastly quote unquote pajamas, which was really cool. But they weren't the only ones that went up. And that's what I wanted you to talk about, because it made kind of show what Mike in his heart, like how big it is.
It looked like I saw some other creators. There was videos like, some who are singers who now, have a huge following. They got brought up on stage, and, other content creators. I think I saw, Funmaker, Justin's daughter is a gymnast, and like she got to go in that video. It's like he really, I think the whole point of this event was to have legitimately everyone to follow your dreams no matter what. And he actually brought up like real world examples. Chris and Heather are one of them. I actually think they're a great one. They started this channel, which I also have always found cool, that they're legitimately a married couple. They're both really into collecting. They just started doing unboxing videos that turned into like their news type show. that then is like, I'm gonna make my own toy company, and
Yeah.
they've not like, it is like kind of such a cool progression. It's why I really do like them, and I hate when they get a bad rap that some people just don't understand their humor, but that's neither here nor there.
Mhm.
Their whole story is just cool, and I'm happy they went to that. And I think once again, they're the best example that I saw or that I personally know of like what Mike was trying to, I think, get at this event,
Yeah.
which is just so Mike.
Yeah.
It's completely different, obviously, than the Thrilljoy event, but I actually think that's cool.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. And just seeing that was, it's heartwarming. You see, like, the fact the other people like bringing them up and all that stuff is like cool, but like you would kind of be like, oh, this is awesome, this makes sense. But like you said, being Chris and Heather who have their own toy company, literally, they come up and he's like letting them show off their stuff. Like that was crazy. I was kind of like really taken aback, like, wow, like he really likes them and he really,
Yeah.
respects them enough to be like, hey, we're gonna let you kind of show things off. And it was really cool for them. I'm sure they loved it. That was a crazy moment for them to be able to do it. I know they were saying they were a little very nervous, like to get
Yeah.
up there and speak and stuff. And obviously, like, because it's not like your event, all of a sudden you're gonna start talking and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool. But obviously during the event, like as they've been doing whenever they have some, like they did it at their I said it again, Anime Con.
Anime Con.
uh, they like unveiled a couple, slides of some upcoming products and things like that. And I did want to get into that real quick, and then we'll go back a little bit more about
Yeah.
the event. But obviously during this, they were going to, unveil some cool stuff. And they unveiled one big thing was they're now getting another character who's going to be an original character who's also being voiced by somebody in a celebrity, which they've been doing this a lot. They did it with AJ, which was with Yuki. They did it with the Mapache, which is Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, and he's like the voice, because obviously some of these have voices during their little like animated shorts and stuff like that. But this one's going to be Roki, which is a cool name, obviously. And I love this character,
Me
Panda.
too.
And it's, of course, Daryl McDaniels, who is DMC, of course, from Run DMC. He's been he was at the launch in Miniso, New York City. So like
a lot of this stuff makes sense now.
yeah, all these people that have been tied, like they're literally using them. Obviously, AJ's been around for a while because he was designing stuff, and then he used them. Then Fluffy's always had a really close relationship with Mike since Funko days. Now they're using him, and now Daryl's coming out, and he's going to be a character. But this Panda one, it has the big glasses, which obviously was a very Run DMC thing. The hat, it's got the big chain. And a panda alone is cool. Like it's a great character, and like it totally fits. Obviously, the Japanese culture and everything. Obviously it's Chinese, but like the Asian culture in general, panda is a big deal. So like having a panda makes perfect sense, and this one is just awesome.
And he's wearing Adidas shoes. I don't know if you saw that. Like,
in the shoe, I didn't realize. Yeah, he's literally he's another member of DMC.
It's amazing. And then like another one they announced, new original character, was that like hamster that we keep seeing on stuff.
Say it's a hamster. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever said. If you guys know exactly what it is, let us know. Like if they did say like
yeah, you're right.
Animal,
I don't.
But I think it's a hamster. We've both kind of been running with the hamster, but let us know if we're wrong.
But they're having you pick the name.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. I think in I guess it was the WonderCon event, I remember they put up different figures, being what should be our next figure that we would make of Leo and Babu.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're doing this. I keep saying it. People are probably like, Charlie, like you like Rokimoto too much. Like I just like everyone who wants to hate on them because they're like different or it's not what they're used to. And I heard people are still like trashing them. They're just like bat toys. They're crap, but like it's not the point. They're just a fun collectible. Like I don't expect it, but it's another funny thing that I just find, like, yes, the Thrilljoy picks, and I don't want to compare the two because I love them. They're such a high quality product.
Yeah.
But if you're not a box collector and you just put these on your shelves, whether it's a Funko Pop, it's a Thrilljoy picks, or it's a Rokimoto Cup of Fun, you're not going to even know what they're made out of.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Just
people are really upset. I heard people were like ripping them at Comic-Con. That like
when they got their hands on it, basically.
Yeah, that weren't aware of them. But I'm just like, I don't know. I love them.
Yeah, it defeats the whole purpose. Like the whole point is that they're cool, they look awesome, the colors are always great on them. They're fun characters, and that's all it is. And it's a blind box culture that if you don't know
Exactly.
or understand, you're not going to know or understand, essentially.
Yeah, I think
And
that's part of the problem.
yeah, that's the big thing. But I mean, like, yeah, doing this, they're getting us to pick okay, what character are we gonna do next? All right, now that we got the character, what name should we go with next? Like, that's awesome, like getting everyone involved. But then they started announcing some other like lines and stuff, and
One of
some
these
of
I
these are
was
pretty sweet.
shocked about. I was like,
Some
this
of
is
these are
sick.
crazy. I'm assuming it's probably the first one.
Yes, it is
Street.
the first one. Yeah.
So Sesame Street, the fact that they got this and they're going to be doing this or whatever, who knows how far they'll go with this. The ones that were shown, of course, was an Ernie, so an actual Ernie character, and then there's a surprise of him. And of course, the surprises are going to continue being them sitting eating noodles, which is funny, but just their thing. So we got Ernie, but then they have a little bit of a variation, which maybe they're going to do this with other characters.
Yeah.
And it's Leo, of course, who's their main one. If you guys are Funko fans, it's like their Freddy Funko. And he is inside of a Cookie Monster suit,
It's
like
awesome.
a little, like almost like a pajama suit with the head that comes over and the eyes on top. And that just makes me think like this is awesome. Like this is cool. This is gonna be perfect for kids. But then obviously, you know, even adults that like Sesame Street or like the characters, like this is gonna be great. These are the only two that they showed. So it's gonna be like, okay, how far are they gonna go? Are they gonna make every main character? Are they gonna keep doing the mix of like the real character versus these original characters that they have dressed as them? I like the idea, and I like that they kind of did 1-on-1 to start it off.
Agreed.
But that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's one that I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
And it's kind of crazy that they got that.
Agreed.
license.
When I saw this, I was like, whoa. I mean, to me, that's just incredible. I just want more. And I love, once again, you said like these are great for adult collectors because there's plenty of adult collectors like Sesame Street, and for kids. And like they're really, for better or worse, whether you think it's corny or not, like it's just got such a great family vibe.
Mhm.
I loved it. I mean, then another one that they showed off, which is going to be a Designer Con exclusive, which kind of sucks. It's limited only because I won't probably be able to get it, but limited to 2,000 piece.
Yeah.
Is a little Frankie, like a Frankenstein, wearing a Rokimoto shirt, and then obviously has his surprise. Like, dude, this one is sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's two. Then there's a Vincent to kind of go with that. There's another character named Vincent. And
which is funny. I did some research on that because I had no idea what that is. I think that is the mascot for Designer Con.
Oh, okay. And what about the Frankie one? Is just a random Frankenstein?
I think I think, but I'm not 100% sure for that one. Because I noticed he's in the Designer Con logo, that Vincent guy, and then I looked it up. I'm like, okay, that's what it is.
Okay.
Which is super cool that they're doing that then. Like,
yeah,
just going like outside the box with that. Because I know in the beginning everyone was just like, "Is this the Slurp Prize? Is it always going to work?" And yes, now it is obviously their gimmick, but like it kind of looks cool with these other characters, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's different.
I mean, I know you're on the same page as
the
me,
tongue is still a thing. Like, you know, like a lot of this stuff is still tied to the same thing, even though they're matching it to random IPs or whatever, even if they're original characters. But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're different. When I saw the little Frankie one, like it looks like a oh my god, I was just thinking of it and I lost the name now. Just
Fantastic Plastic.
A Fantastic Plastic design.
I agree.
Yeah. Like literally looks like that, which obviously, you know, back in Funko days and stuff. But it just like looks like it would be a character from that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, both of those I agree. Interesting, unique, and different. Then we're gonna get some more original stuff. So they did some sneak peeks on another Leo. Leo's gonna come out as a robot. Cool. And then the Babu as a turtle, which I think when we saw this, we did not think it was a turtle. Is this the one that we thought was like a frog or something?
I think so, yeah.
So I guess it's a turtle. But yeah, it's going to be a Babu as turtle. So obviously Leo and Babu will continue to be like their main characters who will be dressed as other things multiple times. And that's just another version that we're going to get there. So.
And then, do you know what this one is on the top of this image? Yeah. I have no idea. I don't even know how to say the name.
Monchichi.
Yeah. I think it's something though, because I read in comments, people are like, "Oh my god, this is sick! Like more
Yeah.
Monchichi merchandise." I mean, it looks cool. I just don't know what it is, and I
I'm
forgot
assuming it's
to
like an old
research
maybe
it.
cartoon or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sorry, like it may
same.
be. I have no idea. But yeah, you have like the right. But the common and chase are very different. The surprise. So at least you're getting like not the same exact one. Like you are getting a different version. So they are kind of think inside the box a little bit there compared to some of the other ones. It just might be the same character. This one at least is a little different.
Yeah, so I just looked it up, and I should have done it before. It's a Japanese like cartoon, which
Okay.
was actually
Forget it
produced
was
by
a cartoon, but
Hanna-Barbera Productions.
wow. So in Japan.
It's a monkey. So
That's a monkey?
yeah, it's a monkey.
Thought that was literally just a little girl.
Yeah, so if you it's weird because of the hat.
Interesting.
So if you search it online, you'll get it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is like the one that was leaked to be coming out to Dreams, which we didn't even talk about,
Oh
but
yeah,
they came out with it, and oh my god, what
you
was its
got it at
name?
the event.
And I'm already forgetting the name of it, but it was obviously a manga series, and it was like a
The
lion or
lion.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it was, some animal in white. So yeah, they're obviously going off after other series and
Which is
cartoons and
super
stuff like that.
cool. And it's funny. I look at this as like, if this may sound weird, but if this was a Funko Pop, I'd be like, okay, I would never get this. But it fits for these Rokimoto
Yeah, it does.
line of toys, and like continuously still sticking with mostly Japanese culture. I know now we can see like Sesame Street, but like Sesame Street's everything. Like it's popular everywhere. So yeah, I mean, I think it's
Yeah,
awesome. And then
they're doing they know what they need, they know their audience, and they're definitely like bringing out stuff for them. This is another example right here, which is obviously another one, which is the Godzilla,
yeah,
which we heard about. It was back when we just saw the name. We didn't know when it was going to come out. We saw like some leaked stuff, but now officially we're seeing it. And this is one of those ones that it's going to be all different versions, possibilities out of one cup.
yes, which
So
I like the best.
this is cool. I'm glad they're doing this. I'm glad that it's not only this and not only the other one. Like that they have kind of a mix of things. Their original characters and some of the certain smaller ones are, it's just going to be the character and a surprise. This you're going to have like very different like rarities, kind of like you would get in some of the bigger blind boxes at like Minisos and stuff. And this is obviously like a bunch of different Godzillas, and it's a mixture of them. I believe they all have some ramen. I think one of them doesn't, but most of them do. Some of them are like the mecha one. Some's like that like translucent freeze one. We have like the old school looking one. Some of them are like villain or whatever. So it's a mix of stuff. So there's 8 different ones in that little batch of Godzilla. So that's like a unique one because it is a little different than the rest.
And that's, I believe, all they showed off.
Yeah, for products,
of new
I believe it was just those.
And then, everyone
mostly.
got a box. The Dreams box. And from what I've gathered, everyone got a proto, which they're calling like their lab bags.
Mm-hmm.
They got one of the plushie keychains, but of a character that hasn't been made yet. So the only ones I think you could buy at the booth were Leo and Babu. You got a new Mapache figure, like a different colorway. And you got Leo in a Dreams outfit, like the space outfit, but it's a glow, and the glow, it's just so funny. They were talking about this in a video that they made. It's like the greatest glow I've ever seen in like a collectible, actually. Maybe it's the material that it's made out of and they're able to do it. It looks super sick. And then you got that lion figure that we were just talking about that neither of us remember the name. But I do believe it's an Astro Boy like spin-off character from another show.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I know it was like a manga series. Well, I looked it up and then I found the name, but I completely forget what it was. But yeah, I mean, so the stuff that they announced was cool, was different, unique. And the Sesame Street is probably the one that I'm most excited about. And then obviously
Agreed.
the original characters like the Leos and the Baboos and stuff, those will always be something that I'm sure we'll continue to, both of us will kind of try to collect because we like that side of it. But overall, like what they announced, what they had, the giveaways, all seemed cool, all seemed great, and seemed like, you know, it was up there with like what their expectations were for like this event. But then obviously there's a whole nother side of the event and a little bit of drama. There's a lot of stuff online now in comments and things that people are saying specifically about the event, how it was run, and different things. And we just kind of want to speak a little bit about what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what potentially could have been going on, and hopefully something that they're able to kind of fix and, you know, deal with so that it doesn't happen again going forward. But I think I want to start back when this announcement of the event happened, and when the event was actually announced and tickets went on sale and everything, we remember that they oversold. They sold
Yeah.
more than they were expecting. They sold more than they were going to be allowed to fit in whatever venue or whatever at that time that they were going to do. So then they came back out and they're like, you know what? Because of that, we're not going to make you cancel anything. We're not going to refund you. We want you to still come. We're going to change the venue. It's going to be bigger. It's going to fit more people, etc. So that's kind of where it was left at. Then the event actually happened, which happened on Saturday night. And it seems like one of the biggest things that's going around is that it wasn't big enough. That wherever they were still was super tight. The amount of people in there were very crowded. So much so, and we have seen video, so much so that people weren't even fully in the room. Some were in like a hallway. Some weren't even allowed to get in because it was just too packed. And it's concerning because it's like, man, that kind of does suck. It's obviously going to be a bad experience for certain people versus other ones. And it seems like that's kind of like was the big thing, right? It was mostly the fact of not being able to really get in there. You spend money for this and you're not really getting everything out of it. A lot of like the giveaways and things that they're probably throwing out and doing whatever, like mostly are staying in one area. So if you're obviously outside or towards the back, you're probably not going to get much. That's kind of like what we're hearing. Obviously, again, we weren't at this event. So if you were and you've seen something different, let us know because we're just kind of going based off of a lot of people, what they're saying. So we're kind of going with the majority in some of this. But one specific person was talking about, and I know we both saw this, a video that kind of went out and was leaked and whatever, which had to do with the fact of these people that weren't really in and they were kind of on the outside and were getting really upset. So based off of that, there was like booing going on. So people were booing or upset that they were not, you know, really getting anything. They were not really close to the stage when these people were coming out, yada, yada, yada. Which, you know, whatever, it's going to happen. It is what it is. But then it was because they were booing at the time, Fluffy, who obviously we know is in connection with this, was the one that was on stage. And while he was on stage, he kind of like called for the guy to go forward or whatever, the one that was like complaining and booing. But then there's like a lot of different things going on. And I don't want to like speculate exactly on what happened, but people are speaking about like supposedly like he was offered money to kind of like to help him because he wasn't able to get whatever. Obviously, you know, you had to buy these tickets to get in there. So maybe they were trying to think like, hey, I'll refund you if you had a bad experience. But maybe some people took it a different way. And then at the end of the day, the guy did have kids with them, which once they found out they had kids, they tried to bring the kids on stage. But it seemed like it was a very awkward interaction with one with the kids, two with Fluffy. And I think there's like a couple things here. Just I'll let you speak in a second, but like got kind of a double-edged sword in the sense of like I feel like that's like he was kind of like the wrong person at the wrong time to be on stage because we know who Fluffy is. He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. He stands on stage. He says jokes. He trashes on people on stage and out in the crowd. Like that's what a comedian does, right? So it was kind of like when a comedian has a heckler, they're gonna react. They're gonna call them out. They're gonna do whatever, and that's literally what was happening. I guarantee if Mike was the one that was, because obviously Mike was on stage, but at that time Mike's the one that's like presenting or talking, whatever, and these people are booing. Mike might just ignore them or like maybe do something different. You know, who knows? But I think it was kind of a mixture of like the fact that it was Fluffy and these people are doing this, and obviously he's going to be quick and witty. I'm sure he's probably throwing lines at this guy, and it's going back and forth. But what is your kind of thoughts on it? And like I said, a lot of it stems from just the overall execution of the fact that they had too many people, and maybe it wasn't run the way it should have been.
Yeah.
Overall, for everyone to have a great experience.
The too many people thing and seeing some of these videos, I'm not gonna lie, was kind of like heartbreaking to me, because I was like, this is a bad look. Like, and it's not a good look for your first event for your new company. And, you know, Mike was the event guy. He was known for this for Funko. It's just kind of funny because I think Thrilljoy, it's funny. I look at past Fun Days events and I look and I now see that the two guys who were in charge of them spread apart. It's very obvious the stuff that Brian brought to the table and that Mike brought to the table. And Mike was always kind of the showman who put on the show. And it kind of looked like that's exactly what this event was. And then to kind of not, for people not to be able to see that or be a part of it, who paid money to come from, it really does. It sucks. I hope. I mean, we were talking about this before, and once again, we obviously still love Rokimoto and everything they've done, but they haven't like talked about it yet. And you know, the con was still today. Yeah. I'm just curious what they're gonna say, because like the video is just like not a good look. I love what you said about Fluffy though. Like, he probably didn't really know how to handle it in this situation, but that's exactly what he'd done at a comedy show, and people probably would have thought it was great, which is also funny. But then the other thing that's been, I noticed a lot of people complaining, which kind of really irritated me. They're like, oh, a bunch of man-childs are in the audience who get the better seats over like some of the kids and stuff. And, you know, I'm going to stop right there, because everyone can, if you follow us on social media too, you can see I have really taken to Rokimoto with my son Chip. He loves it. We've been ripping stuff open. I would never bring Chip to this event. It, you know, even though it is a brand for a family, like this is an event at night. You know, there's going to be tons of people. Like, I saw a lot of people complaining. Like, that was another thing. Like, they weren't being fair to like the families and the kids there versus all these like free sellers, quote unquote, like grown nerdy men. Like, that's a complaint that's going around that I don't really like. I don't think that's fair. I saw some people who are creators that legitimately brought their basically like almost infant baby to this event. It's wild to me. Like, I don't think that is just like, this is not the place for that. And I'm not trying to go off on a tangent, but like I've seen a lot of, and once again, we weren't there, and I haven't gotten to hear enough from people that I actually know that went to the event like I did for Thrilljoy. I just haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. So I do want to hear more from people who were there. I'm also really curious to see what Chris and Heather are going to say about it, because you know they're going to have to talk about it, and they obviously were treated like, you know, legends there.
Yeah.
And they're obviously known for their commentary. It's just a really unfortunate thing. But I don't think they should be getting bashed for it. But then at the same time, you shouldn't be having an event that not everyone can fit in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one thing to be overcrowded, like the Thrilljoy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
People were saying that Thrilljoy felt maybe a little claustrophobic. Okay, that sucks. But here's some people legitimately, according to these videos, unless they're fake, they weren't even in the door.
Yeah. And supposedly it's like 100 people. Like, it's like a lot of people.
That's insane.
A lot of people had to leave early, supposedly because of that. And it's just, they're standing for most of the time. Because like this event, like you were saying, was a lot different than Thrilljoy's was outside. Obviously, you're standing, you're moving around, you're going to different things, you're playing games, whatever. This was like a sit down, like you're at chairs, you're, you know, for the most part, that's how it was presented. And some people weren't, because they were standing, or there was no room, or they weren't able to get in. They weren't close enough to the stage to really experience a lot of those things, like you were saying, with the different people coming up and showing things off. So like, I can see both sides. So I can see the side of like those people, they're paying $100, they're paying this money and like not getting what they expected out of it, and the experience not being the best for them. And it does suck, because it shouldn't be like that. Like, everyone should at least be able to get something that's worth it and makes an experience that they can remember and they can talk about and they can enjoy. But I also see how like you were saying, like is this event really something that kids should have been at? Not that you can't bring
Yeah,
kids, 'cause it's like
exactly.
whatever. There's been kids at the Thrilljoy event. Remember the kid that won the one of one thing, whatever, was a
Yes.
kid. So like it's
Sometimes
gonna
I think
happen.
people bring kids for the wrong reasons too. I
Yeah,
don't want to.
it's gonna happen. There's gonna
Yeah,
be kids at places. It is what it is. It's whatever.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if that's like a big reason why some of this stuff was an issue. Like that shouldn't have been the reason, but I can see how yeah, people like our age and people who buy this and collect it, and even people who flip stuff like that. Those people are just going to exist and they're going to be there. They obviously have money, they have the time, they go and they spend it and they go to these events. They're going to be there. So I just think the bigger issue is that they should be figuring out the logistics a little bit better next time. Like that needs to be something that's locked down. There really has to be a hard stop on how many people. They have to know exactly that many people are going to be good, and that way it seems a little bit more fair in sense of like everyone's getting the same experience. Now, is everyone to get like giveaways and get things like no? That's going to be the same boat like what we had
yeah.
at Thrilljoy. Like it's just the way it's going to be. But I bet there wouldn't have been as many problems where most people are saying like no, like I wasn't able to experience mostly any of it. I was standing the whole time. I was like that's kind of the words that are going around that make it seem like worse. And then this specific situation, like we were saying about the video, just kind of makes it seem like sloppy. Like you can even tell, like Mike was on stage with Fluffy, who was near him. You can even tell he kind of was probably in a little awkward state because he didn't really say much. He was kind of just like he probably didn't know what to say or what to
Yeah.
do. It's just like again, we didn't know. I don't know if anyone has a better video, but we didn't hear exactly word for word like what this guy is saying and what Fluffy is saying to kind of know, is one in the wrong or the other. It's kind of hard to judge that. But it's just from afar, if these people are far away, like they probably have no idea what's really being said or being done. So they're only going to go based off of what other people are saying.
And also
So
too,
it's
like
just it's a weird
it's a
situation.
weird situation. And like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. If I was that guy, I'd probably be pretty pissed. The more I think
Oh, of
about it,
course.
like
Being
it's like
out in those, the experience
I
is not
just
going to be good,
don't
especially if you have
know.
kids with you.
Yeah, I just don't know how that happened because the more I think about it, it is really bad for that amount of people to have been there. And then I also find it weird, but maybe there was nothing they could have done. Like Mike didn't address it from the get go. Maybe they did, or they
Yeah,
kind of
we
just like
don't
the
know.
show went on and like he may have not even realized people
Expected
weren't
that
all
many
in there.
people,
Like
yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we get more information. I mean, I'm glad you said it, a good, like, tell on this will be something like what Castle Gas will say. Like, they were there. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to talk about more, they're the big ones about talking about what's happening, what happened, the news and drama, everything. They'll talk about both sides. But obviously, they'll talk about their experience and what they did. They kind of did do that a little bit in some quick videos on like how excited they were for being there, how nervous they were, and everything. But now that like this video is getting out there, I'm sure people are sending it to them. That
Yeah,
always happens. It would be interesting to see if they come out and kind of say their part. And I'm assuming they were there during that. I would assume if they kind of give their input on what they think actually happened and maybe what side was right and what side was wrong. But yeah, not have enough room and seats and similar to Thrilljoy, not have enough food. Like kind of, it's like a very similar thing. It just seems like that needs to kind of be fixed. Like that should be something that next time doesn't happen again. A rowdy person or someone getting upset and not getting this, like that's probably going to happen no
gonna
matter
happen.
what here and there. But to the extent of like how many people weren't getting the same experience as the others, that's kind of something that needs to be figured out. And hopefully, if they do have an event in New York, that's something that they do try to fix. And I don't want to blame Rokimoto or even Thrilljoy for the issues that we talked about
Agreed.
before, because this is and yeah, granted, these are people that have run other companies, but this is the first time they're really putting something on like this. And even that other company, the Funkos of the world, had issues multiple times and later, even after being around for a long time, where they didn't have enough room to be like New York Comic Con had a pretty bad experience supposedly for that. Fright Night that they had.
Yes.
So like clearly it's not like it's a brand new thing that happens, but it just sucks that it happens on their first one and being so hyped up, and it was like a really cool event in general. So I just hope it gets fixed, because we don't want this to be like a thing anymore. And hopefully
I
they do
don't
come
want
out and they kind of speak.
I don't want it to hurt them either, if I'm being
No.
honest. Because once again, I was shocked to see that video.
Yeah, interesting. And again, we're just speaking from just seeing things. We weren't there. If you
But
were
I still
there,
wish I was there. So
definitely let us know. Yeah, of course, we definitely wish we were both there. But let us know if you were at this event or at the Thrilljoy event, whatever, just to kind of give us what you saw and what your expectation was, and if it lived up to it or not. But it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens going forward for sure. Product wise, we're excited. We're excited for both of these companies and what they have to offer and things that they're announcing and what's going to be coming out. It's exactly what we have been saying they should be doing, and they're doing it really well. So that part of it is more exciting, obviously, than this drama. We don't want to get too much into that kind of stuff, but let us know down below. Again, comment if you haven't already, like this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, which was strictly two giants,
the two big guys in our opinion,
in terms of events and products and things like that. But yeah, love it. But yeah, that'll probably end the episode there. Charlie will let you know all the goods on where to find us and all things like that. But really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So obviously, as always, you can find us at Collector Chatter on Instagram, and that at Collector_Migs and at Collector_Charlie. If you're listening on podcast platforms, obviously, I always say if you're on Spotify, if you get, you can interact with the questions on per episode, and if you leave us a review there, just that obviously helps push out the podcast on those platforms. But then come over to YouTube. As always, we're going to see nice, pretty images of all the stuff that we just talked about, and make sure you leave us some comments. And as Meg said, we really want to know what your opinion was of the event. If you went, let us know if you went to the event, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you wish they did. Also, let us know if you were at the con, if there's any other things that you thought were super cool. And even if there was anything you got at the Funko booth, I know we didn't really talk about them. Where Thrilljoy and Rokimoto at this point right now are really where me and Mig's head are at. But we still want to know about all the other things going on, especially Funko. And as always, hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. And please just like this video. As always, collecting is the way. We really appreciate everyone. Until the next video. Later.
Peace out, everybody.